Hey squad, welcome back to my channel. So if you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that this time has been a little bit different for us. We are currently in quarantine, and my project that I wanted to film and put up on Friday was our makeover of our master closet. And I'm only halfway finished with it. I had planned on finishing it this past week, and then my husband did test positive, so we are home and we are quarantined, and he is in the space that I would need to be in to finish that video. But one thing that I did want to do for that video was to create some affordable storage. So I want to take you guys along. I want to show you kind of my trial and error. I did a lot of exploring and figuring things out so that hopefully it makes it easier for you and you don't have to. I don't know about you, but I love seeing befores and afters of storage spaces, you know, closets, drawers, whatever. And I love seeing the before and after, but sometimes I get discouraged because I just don't have the funds or the desire to spend all of this money on decorative baskets and bins. You can really spend a lot of money without even meaning to in that category. So the things that I knew for this project were that I wanted my items to be relatively the same size to sort of create a cohesive look. I knew that I wanted to keep it kind of in a neutral color palette, and I knew that I wanted to keep my budget and my spending as low as possible. And if you've been around here for any period of time, you know that that's sort of always the goal. So up on the top shelf of our closet is where we store some things that I really just would like to be a little bit prettier. We have the extra inserts from car seats and high chairs and all of these things that, you know, once your kids grow older and bigger, you really don't need them anymore, but you don't want to throw them away, and where do you put them? So we have them all together, but they're not really contained. I had a friend come over and they were looking at the bins in the top of my kids' closet and they were saying, see, that's what I need. And I said, well, they're not super organized. And they said, yes, but they're contained. And I think that is true. Even if your bins aren't perfectly organized, they are contained. And there's something to be said for just corralling something in a pretty container. So actually, the kids' closet is sort of what I wanted to recreate the look of without spending the money. I don't remember how much I spent on the kids' bins. I didn't remember them being that expensive, but when I looked them up to possibly purchase them for this project, they were $28 for this pack. And I just decided that I didn't really want to invest the money in that, and I decided I'd rather invest the time and the work, especially since I am stuck at home and don't really have a whole lot to do other than just hanging out here. I also like to change out my clothes seasonally, so usually I will switch over my winter and my fall wardrobe for my spring and summer. So right now I have a box of spring and summer clothes, and it's just in a regular box. So that's something that I wanted to use the storage bins for. And then also just random miscellaneous things that, like I said, would look better corralled in a container. So let me take you along, and I'm going to show you how I transformed these regular boxes into storage bins.
Okay, and here we are in phase one of my project, which I like to call, I thought I was going to use this wrapping paper and it didn't work out. Anyway, more about that later. This adhesive cork sheet was also from Dollar Tree, and I really liked it because you just stick it and go. I couldn't get my camera to focus on this craft knife set, but I'll talk more about that also later. And yes, I did go to the ABC store to get my boxes. I used a box cutter and I went all the way around the top edges of the box to cut off the flaps. This gave me a nice smooth finish on the top and allowed it to clear the top of my closet and fit in the space that I needed it to. So I then decided that I wanted to create some handles for the bins, not necessarily for picking them up by, but just to make them look a little more decorative and interesting. So I lined out and measured my opening, and then I used my little craft knife set. I was having a little bit of trouble with it, so I decided on the other side that I would test out the box cutter. And the box cutter has the power that is needed, but it wasn't giving me the smooth finish that I was getting with the craft knife set. So I ended up going back to it again, and as you'll see here in a minute, my knife blade ended up falling out. This was a recurring issue, and I kept having to put my blades back in and adjust the handle and it really ended up just being a hassle. So while this is an affordable product and you could call it a dupe for an X-Acto knife, if you're looking for something like this and if it would really be beneficial to you, I would just go ahead and get the real deal. Sometimes you really do get what you pay for. So here we are at my first draft of the box. I used the white wrapping paper, and as you can see through the paper. I also thought that if I were taking these bins up and down from time to time, that they would be sort of in a fragile state, especially with little hands around. So I ended up deciding to paint them. Now, I didn't film this because it was a long, drawn-out, tedious, sort of annoying process, but basically I tried to use acrylic paint and brush them on, and it just ended up being the wrong medium, so I went with a spray paint. So here are the finished bins. They're nothing fancy, it's not a big thing, but they look better in the top of my closet than what I had.
I hope that you enjoyed this project. I hope that it was able to inspire you to organize your space, even if you have a very, very limited budget. Thank you guys. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Like I said, my name is Kelly, and I love to share about secondhand shopping and our life as a family. And we are gearing up for yard sale season, which means I will be in the car. I will be headed out with my quarters and my dollars, and I will be looking for things for our family, and I would love for you to come along for the ride. Thanks for watching, and I'll be talking to you soon.